My name is Emily Carter. I am 23 years old, and I live in a small town called Willow Creek. My life was simple and ordinary until the day I found the old diary in my grandmother's attic. It all started on a rainy afternoon. I was helping my grandmother clean her attic when I discovered a wooden box covered in dust. I opened it and found an old, leather-bound diary. The pages were yellow and fragile. The name on the first page was Margaret Thompson. Who is Margaret Thompson? I asked my grandmother. She looked at the diary and her face turned pale. She was my best friend, she whispered. But she disappeared 50 years ago. I felt a chill run down my spine. A missing person? A lost diary? I had to know more. That night, I started reading the diary. The first few pages talked about Margaret's life, her dreams, and her love for painting. But as I read further, the entries became strange. I think someone is watching me, she wrote one night. I hear footsteps outside my window. Last night I saw a shadow in my garden. The last entry was the most shocking. Tomorrow I will meet him at the old bridge. He says he has something important to tell me. If anything happens to me, tell Emily Carter. Emily Carter? That was my name? But this diary was 50 years old. How was that possible? I barely slept that night. The next morning, I showed the diary to my grandmother. She was silent for a long time. Then she said, "We need to go to the old bridge." The old bridge was in the forest, half broken and covered in moss. We searched around and found nothing, until I saw a small wooden box hidden under a rock. Inside, there was a golden locket. When my grandmother opened it, she gasped. Inside the locket was a tiny picture of Margaret and a note. The note said, "I knew you would find this, Emily. Keep searching." Was Margaret still alive? What happened to her that night? I didn't have all the answers, but I knew one thing. The next day, I returned to the attic. If Margaret had left me a message in the locket, maybe there was something else hidden. I searched through old boxes and shelves, hoping to find another clue. Then, behind an old painting, I found a small envelope sealed with red wax. With trembling hands, I opened it. Inside was a letter, written in the same handwriting as the diary. "If you are reading this, Emily, then you are the one meant to find me. I had to disappear that night at the old bridge. I couldn't trust anyone. But I left pieces of the truth behind." Go to the Willow Creek Library and look for the book titled The Forgotten Path. There, you will find the next step. I felt my heart race. Margaret had planned this. She wanted me to follow her path. But why? The next morning, I went to the library. It was a small building, filled with the scent of old books and history. I searched the shelves until I found The Forgotten Path. It was a dusty blue book that looked untouched for years. Inside the book, I found a folded piece of paper. On it, there was a map of Willow Creek. A red X marked a location near the old lighthouse. I had never been to the lighthouse before. It was abandoned, standing alone on the rocky shore. That evening, I went there with my flashlight. The wind howled as I approached the entrance. The door was locked, but a broken window allowed me to crawl inside. The air was thick with dust, and the wooden floors creaked under my weight. I walked carefully, my flashlight revealing old furniture and forgotten memories. Then, I saw it. A small chest hidden under a dusty cloth. I opened it and gasped. Inside were letters, photographs, and a journal. The letters were from Margaret to someone named Jonathan. They spoke of a secret, of danger, and of someone who wanted to silence. Her one letter stood out. Jonathan, if something happens to me, tell Emily Carter the truth. She will understand. She will find me. My breath caught in my throat. Margaret was speaking to me, across time, across history. But where was she? What truth was I supposed to uncover? Just then I heard a noise behind me. A shadow moved in the doorway. Someone was watching me. The mystery of Margaret Thompson was far from over.